to At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
And this week, it's a classic fantasy tale with a really horny king.
Yes, the Black Cauldron from 1985.
A brave warrior.
I'll protect you.
A beautiful princess.
I'm Princess Alonwi.
An evil emperor.
Soon the Black Cauldron will be mine.
And a magical cauldron.
If the Horned King should find it, nothing could stand against him.
That holds the key to saving a mystical land. The Black Cauldron.
This movie has a pretty big reputation.
You know, I don't really know a lot about the reputation, but I know a lot about what I saw.
I mean, this movie is notoriously said it's the worst animated movie that Disney ever made. It's the absolute low point of Disney's.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, clearly, off the bat, it's pretty obvious that this movie is pretty weak. For an animated movie.
It is. My thing, especially reading that it's based off of a book series that's 5 books long.
So that actually makes a ton of sense as to the problems with this movie.
Because there were things about this movie that I actually liked.
Oh, it could have been great as 2 movies.
Maybe even 3.
Maybe.
Because who knows how much they actually cut out. Like, I kind of want to read the book series now to know what they cut out.
Okay, so we're in total agreement with this then, that this movie was extremely short. Extremely short. 1 hour and 22 minutes. And it ran through a mountain of material at light speed, and it was just, wait, what's happening? What? There's nothing breathes. There's no building. Yeah.
That's
nice.
literally what I wrote. No room to breathe.
Yeah. Nothing. It's just frustrating because there's no relationship building. There's no world building. It's just pow, 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 pow.
And I don't know when certain things came out, but it feels like certain other fantasy things took pieces from this story and put it in their stuff.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones, Legend of Zelda,
Yeah.
like...
Well, all of those things came after this, so...
But then there were also things about Lord of the Rings that were kind of like... It was really strange.
It really was.
It kind of was almost this took just a ton of unrelated fantasy elements and threw them into a cauldron and stirred.
Right. But that's kind of the funny thing about it, though, is it has good bones.
Yeah.
It could have been such a good movie. But
Yeah.
they just screwed it up.
Well, and I was reading, apparently they acquired the rights and they're going to give it another shot.
Well, they shouldn't. It should be live action or Pixar. Because I can tell you that they could get a lot of mileage out of one character in particular.
Oh, God. Which one?
Do I even need to say it?
With the dumb dog bear thing?
Yeah. That was...
Gollum, Peter Jackson's Gollum is a total ripoff of this thing.
So remember the stupid chicken in Coco?
Mm-hmm.
This...
Dog. It was a dog.
Oh,
yeah. The chicken is Moana.
Oh, right. So this is the genesis of the stupid character, is this movie. This is where the stupid, annoying Jar Jar Binks character came from.
Ooh, great prince. Take poor starving Goody munchings and crunchings. Nice apple. Good prince. Good apple.
Yeah, and I'm saying that if you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, the Gollum character is this character.
Oh, sure.
To the end of the series where he jumps in the fiery pit. So you totally ripped that off. And yes, Lord of the Rings books came before this, but...
Well, wait. Did they come before the Puritans books or whatever it's called?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'd have to look that up.
They both came out in the 60s, I think.
Oh.
So actually, that's going to really bother me. Sorry.
Let's look that up.
Originally published 1954. So technically, Lord of the Rings came first. But the way that What's-His-Face portrayed Gollum in the movies, the voice is the same. He copied the voice. It was a ripoff. And and so whatever, it's really strange. I don't know. It's odd.
So the Prydian thing, okay, so in my opinion, one of the biggest weaknesses of this movie is the awful names for everyone and everything.
Oh, you mean Princess Eleonwe.
Elanawi? Yeah, it's unpronounceable. It's unspellable. It makes no sense. She could have even been a good princess, but you can't say her name, so who cares?
And then you go from something like that to the villain, which is the Horned King. That's his name.
King, yeah.
And his sidekick Creeper.
Which would be like calling what's the lady from Sleeping Beauty?
Aurora.
It would be like calling Aurora the Horned Queen.
Wait, oh no, you mean Maleficent?
Oh, Maleficent, yeah, the Horned Queen. Yeah, I didn't mean Sleeping Beauty. I meant.
Oh, and the dragons just sort of look like Maleficent, but whatever. We're just going to ignore that.
A lot like Maleficent.
Okay, well, let me read the synopsis before we go too much further.
Before we get into how derivative this movie is.
I don't know. I still think that other fantasy things stole stuff from this movie. But,
oh, sure. Well, not the movie, but maybe the books. This is 1985 when this movie came out.
Oh, no. But there's a fun fact that supports that. Okay. The Black Cauldron, 1985. Coming of age, fantasy, animation, action adventure. Fantasy, magic, and fun are all brewed together in this legendary adventure. Whoever releases the mysterious Black Cauldron's power will be invincible. The fearsome Horned King will do anything to possess it, but he is challenged by the most unlikely adversary, a young assistant pig keeper named Taryn, who dreams of doing heroic deeds. With a motley team including the brave Princess Elanwe, a minstrel named Fluter Flam, and Henchman, a remarkable pig who can predict the future. Taryn embarks on a quest to stop the Black Cauldron's evil once and for all. Will he have the courage to succeed?
Yeah, I guess. There was not enough Henchman in this movie, by the way. Henchman was a great character.
The pig?
Yeah.
I mean...
It was basically a dog, but it was a pig.
Yeah. And now you want a pet pig.
Not really, but, I mean, it makes you almost wish you wanted a pet pig, but then you eat bacon and pork shoulder, and you're like, no, I don't want a pet pig.
Oh my god. But it could, yeah, never mind. But yeah, there were so many characters that I was just like, it was too much to fit into an hour and 22 minutes.
It was too much to fit in one movie.
So all of the key points in the movie felt very anticlimactic because there wasn't a time to build on anything.
Right, and you were just moving on. No relationship building, no anything, just moving on. Elanwe and Taryn were best homies immediately. There was no letting it breathe.
Yeah.
She was just like, come with me. Okay, so I don't want to air everything that pisses me off at the beginning of this, but why was her magic bauble never seen again as soon as they left the castle?
Right? I was thinking that too.
Oh my god. Okay, so she's not magic anymore?
Well, and I thought that was going to play a part later. And
it should have. It could have easily.
There was a lot of things. And that's what's unfortunate. And that's why I'm sure the books are probably incredible, because there was a lot of really cool elements in it, but...
Right. So let's get into the directors. Shockingly, dudes made The Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, if you remember when we talked about Fox and the Hound, we had the same issue. They didn't develop the Todd and Copper relationship.
Shocking.
Well, and there were a lot of scenes cut out of this movie, too, apparently. Because they were too scary.
Well, which is crazy. Disney should have grown a pair and released a scary movie.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And they really, at this point, they should release the director's cut and maybe people would get into it.
Probably. So it's Ted Berman and Richard Rich, and so they were just two duos.
Right. Dick Black, he was really into the Swan Princess later.
Oh, I didn't see Dick Black. I just saw
Richard Black.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. But the Swan Princess is actually one of the better non-Disney animated movies.
And he made like 80 Swan Princess related things.
The only good one is the first one.
But the Ted Berman guy wrote Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
And The Rescuers and Winnie the Pooh.
Right. So this guy, I mean, you can see maybe some of the pedigree, but just nobody could direct anything and nobody could make a story work in this movie.
No.
Because they didn't do it with Fox and the Hound, they didn't do it with this. This was worse.
Yeah, because they were just trying to shove 5 books into an hour and 22 minutes, which is just... I gotta read those books now. I gotta do it.
Which is, I mean, it's almost as bad as the end of Game of Thrones, where they just tried to shove one book into 2 episodes, but...
Correct, sir.
It's just terrible.
You mean a book that's not written yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it seems like in the old days they just were like, oh, you directed the last one, you'll direct the next one, even if you're not qualified.
Well, that worked for some of the live action movies that we've seen that we love.
Yeah, I guess, and it worked with some of the older animated movies, but not...
Right.
This was just a string of bad movies.
This was just a dark period for Disney, and I mean, it's clear. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And really, to me, the dark period extends to Oliver and Company because that movie is not very good either.
Well, but that's an improvement from this. It has songs. So.
Yeah, that's true. And it has actors.
Yeah.
This movie has no actors. So let's move into that. Grant Bardsley, our Terran. He's just a bit actor that nobody cares about.
Susan Sheridan.
Say your name.
Susan Sheridan?
No. Elanwi. Nothing. Bit actor.
Yeah. I did actually... The brief scene that was the fairy scene, the Arthur Mallet, I recognized his voice. And and it was because I used to watch Hook a lot when I was a kid, and he was Toodles. Oh, and that's a small part in that movie, but I remember his voice.
But he was also in Halloween, and he's in Mary Poppins.
Oh, yeah, he's in Mary Poppins. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, he is. And then also the guy who voiced Creeper, Phil Fondadero, I recognized him too, but it's because I watched Secret of NIMH, which is another non-Disney animated movie that is amazing.
Well, so here's one of my fun facts. He voiced Gurgi and Dolly.
Ooh. And the Creeper guy?
Oh, whoops. No, I screwed that up. Sorry, everybody.
No, it's okay. Who voiced Gurgi and Dolly?
I didn't write the guy's name down, but Gurgi and Dolly were voiced by the same character.
That makes sense. Wait, who was Dolly?
The angry fairy who took them to...
that actually kind of makes sense.
Does,
yeah, okay. And Gurgi, what is Gurgi? Is he a dog? Is he like a bear? What is he?
Man, bear, pig?
I don't know. I was not really a fan of Gurgi for the same reasons I'm not a fan of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I can't stand that voice.
Right.
Oh.
So, I mean, and then Dalbin, which might have been the most famous dude, was in Dune and Kroll. Great 80s movies that Kelly hasn't seen and she would love. And then Nigel Hawthorne, who played Flem, who might be the most Flem-esque, boring, milquetoast character in any movie of all time. That guy was in Demolition Man, which I just think is cool.
Oh my god. And then I didn't write them down, but did you write down the three witches, who they were?
No.
Okay, because they were some of my more favorite parts of the movie.
I mean, who cares who they were, really?
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. And it's probably actually better that way, I think, that you don't have as many super famous people voicing all these.
No, I actually think that's weak, is that there was no... Because I thought the acting in this was kind of weak. And you know what? The horny witch was probably a good somebody famous. Because she was
amazing. She was so good. I loved it.
Wait! My! Aren't you the handsome one?
Me?
Oh, honestly now, don't you find me irresistible?
Yeah, never mind.
So do you have any fun facts?
I do. Well, I mean, I already said there were parts that were cut out because
so we each said one, but I have one more too.
I have one more also.
Okay,
you go. Oh, you want me to go?
Oh, I'll do it. So this movie did so poorly that they didn't put it out on home VHS until 1998.
I think I had heard that before.
13 years after the movie came out. Which is the opposite strategy of now. Now, if a movie bombs, they put it out immediately so they can try and get some money out of it.
Yeah.
This movie was so bad they waited 13 years to.
They were just ashamed.
There.
They were ashamed of it.
They should have been.
However, I mean, that was here, but apparently it was super popular in Japan. And there is a, quote, urban legend, even though I think it's true, that it was so popular in Japan that the guy who created Legend of Zelda took elements from this and put it into his story.
I totally believe it.
The freaking little bobble, that's the fairy thing.
Yeah, no, I get it, because Legend of Zelda kicks and I'm not going to lie, this movie doesn't kick but a lot of parts of it do.
Right, and so I thought that was interesting. No, give it to Japan. No, this is awesome. We don't care that it moves at 1 million miles a minute. It's just like our cartoons.
Yeah, but their cartoons breathe.
Yeah.
All of their cartoons breed. Well, not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah, but it's just kind of it makes me just feel kind of just unfortunate because
Let's get through this. It's going to be fast because this movie moves fast. So we start in the mystic land of, how do you say that?
Prydain?
Prydain?
Prydain, is that right? I'm sorry. If you guys are fans of the book series and we're saying it wrong.
Right, or we just watched the movie and we're saying it wrong because we just kind of, it was really quick. They don't say it a lot.
In the mystic land of Prydain.
No, they just said it at the beginning and then once, I think, in the fairy part, and that was it.
Right, and I more read it than heard it, so.
I think it's Prydain, though. Prydain.
Yeah, you're probably right. And so the evil king from back in the day, he's trapped in the Black Cauldron, and then we meet Dalbin.
Yeah, and he's saying how something bad's about to happen, and it's not really... And that's the thing, is like, you're like, so is he a wizard, or like, you don't...
Yeah, he did have a Merlin-esque quality to him, but you just had no idea. And then there's this hyperactive little kid who wants to fight.
But he has the most effeminate voice.
Oh, totally.
And it's not a good pairing. And so it kind of was weird because we just watched Sword in the Stone not that long ago, and then we watched this. Oh, this is kind of similar, but not.
It was way too similar to Sword in the Stone. I will not lie.
It was weird.
And it didn't need to be. They could have done a better job of making a few decisions that made it not bad. Dalbin maybe didn't need a beard, or if he did have one, it should have been a short one.
Or he could have had dark hair.
Dark hair would have been nice.
Or, maybe when they're panning into the little cottage, don't show a little squirrel who looks just like the female squirrel from Sword in the Stone.
Right, or he could have maybe not worn a wizard's outfit and just worn a normal outfit of some country person.
I didn't notice him wearing a wizard's outfit. I thought he was wearing tights.
It looked roby. They looked like robes.
Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta go take care of this pig, and it's funny because I don't know if they meant to do this, but Taran grabs the lid of the pot and he's like, oh, it's hot. And then the dude just grabs it like, oh, no problem, it's ready. And so
maybe that was to show that Taran's kind of a little...
I don't know. I think it was a mistake. But basically, he has to take the food out to this pig, and they don't really leave much to mystery. The guy's like, oh, he doesn't know how magical the pig is or something.
Yeah, we'll see. He'll understand later.
Yeah, and so they're outside, and I don't know why I wrote this dude sucks, but I did. I don't remember what happened when he was outside.
Oh, he was dreaming about fighting with the pig, and that he was going to be a great warrior.
Oh, that's right.
And then he starts giving the pig a bath, and then the pig freaks the out.
Oh, yeah.
And starts squealing, and the dude's like, oh no, bring him inside. Oh, it's suddenly, this is a psychic pig kid, watch this. Watch the psychic thing in the bowl. Pig
LSD visions.
He's like, this is your first time watching TV. Shut up and watch.
Yeah, and then he's, the Horned King, the Paladin, what is his name? Paladin?
I just call him the Horned King. I don't know if they ever actually call him by his name.
No, the old guy. The nice guy.
Dalbin.
He's like, oh, the Horned King knows that the pig's here now. And how does he know, though? Because you made the pig show a vision, so why did you make the pig show a vision?
I'm sure that there's an actual explanation.
Yeah, I don't know.
We just don't get it.
No, and so he's like wrapping up food and tells Taran, oh, you need to take the pig to this house in this edge of the forest or something. But then the kid leaves, doesn't take the food with him that the guy just wrapped up.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
He does.
He's supposed to go to the hidden cottage at the edge of the forbidden forest.
Yeah, I don't know. He does, but it's like in his little outfit or something.
And then we cut to the Horned King, and he's just excited for dead soldiers.
Yeah, I was the Horned King. Ooh, scary.
Yeah. He's just, And he wants to be a god.
Well, and that's the thing is there's no explanation of, okay, why do you want to be a god? Like
we don't even really see him at this point. We just kind of see the outlines of him. And he's a ripoff of Skeletor, which is whack.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And I think it's more just an animation choice of why he's a ripoff. No, it is whack. But basically, like, it's the old way they used to tell these stories where he's just bad to be bad. Like, he just wants to be bad, no explanation up to why.
No explanation. Yeah, it's true. So, we cut back to the kid and Henwin, and immediately he loses Henwin while he's dreaming about how much of a badass he is in Henwin's little vision.
Well, he's basically Ron's Weasley staring into the frickin' mirror of Aristide like, oh, look at me, I won the Quidditch Cup.
That's true. Maybe J.K. Rowling ripped that off from this series.
Oh, a number of other things. You mean how Dobby's Gurgi but less annoying? I don't...
Well, actually,
just saying. I got serious. Okay, so we meet.
Maybe Gurgi is not so annoying in the books. You never know.
I don't know, but so the next scene we meet Gurgi, and he's just, oh, that's not right.
And he's like a thief and kind of a huckster, little weird animal that we don't know what it is.
Yeah, and he's like a weird, dog bear thing, and the whole time was like,
let's just say he's a man bear pig.
Man bear pig.
Yeah.
And I just got serious.
I'll just go ahead and say this. I had immediate Jar Jar Binks vibes with him.
Well, do you remember on the movie Labyrinth, that little thing that's leading her through the maze?
Yeah, he's exactly, is it Wart, or is it?
I don't remember, but...
Oh, that's going to drive me insane. I have to look that up.
Okay.
Pause, Kelly. Hoggle.
Hoggle, yes, thank you. It's Hoggle, it's Dobby, it's Gollum, it's Hoggle-Dob.
And Labyrinth was 1 year after this.
Not surprising. This movie, also, I just want to say...
You remind me of the baby.
God, they could have just thrown that in here. It'd be amazing. God, now I want to watch Labyrinth. So the way the movie was animated and just certain things, I was, God, this is so 80s.
It was poorly animated, by the way.
Oh, yes, it was. Very poor. Like, oh.
This was worse than Fox and the Hound. And... maybe the worst animated movie that we've seen? What was it? I'm trying to think of what we just saw recently. Oh, Sword in the Stone was the other one that was...
This was way better than... Or Sword in the Stone is way better than this.
Right, which says a lot.
But you really hated Great Mouse Detective, which came right after this.
But not for the same reasons. Great Mouse Detective was not in the same... I feel it almost seems like a different studio made that.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So... Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot.
My problems with Great Mouse Detective are way different than my problems with
I know.
this.
You've got serious problems dissing on that movie. I'll never forgive you. It's fine.
Well, it's fine, but it's just a different kind of thing.
So, I forgot about this scene, but actually I kind of liked this scene because, his interaction with Gurgi, establishing that Gurgi's a little because he's hears Henwin, he runs after, and immediately Gurgi's like, okay, bye, and runs away. That's his whole thing.
Anytime there's danger, he runs away.
He runs away. Which actually is kind of important for the end of the movie. But sure. There's these two maleficent dragon things chasing Henwin, and this part was actually kind of intense.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
So I actually kind of liked this part. I forgot about the scene completely, but...
Yeah, but the dragons attack Henwin, and they take her as... Taryn is giving chase.
Mm-hmm.
Taryn just says, it. He breaks into the castle. He just follows the dragons. And we see this cacophony of nasty men.
A brute party.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A brute party there. So there's like 200 dudes to one wench.
Yeah, there's a lady who's a fat Esmeralda ripoff, even though Esmeralda came later, but she's like a gross gypsy lady.
Yeah, not an Esmeralda ripoff. She's the grossest lady that could handle taking 200.
Yeah, there was a lot of interesting choices in this movie, and this is where I don't remember why I wrote this, but I was like, this is very 80s, very underlined in large caps. The Horned King appears, and it's.
And the Creeper, he doesn't even speak. Creeper does all the speaking for him at this point.
Yeah, oh my god,
and Creeper is also basically the mirror character of Gorgie. An annoying little piece of character that you just don't want anything to do with.
There's so many movies that have things from this. Like, I really wish you'd seen Anastasia, because there's a little bat that's a sidekick of the bad guy, and it's the same. It's the same character.
Wait, isn't there one of these in The Great Mouse Detective?
Yes, it's the bat thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, fidget.
Yeah, fidget. It's just a ton of trope. It's a trope on a trope on a trope.
Yeah, and so they bring out the pig, and it's really sad. And then the kid's like, "No, don't kill the pig,"
and he didn't mean to do that. He kind of fell and said no, like as he was falling. He's like, "Don't kill the pig." And
wait, were they going to kill it at this point?
Oh yeah. Well, no, they weren't going to kill it, but they were going to burn it with the thing. The creeper had like a hot ember
to make it show the visions, but you have to say the special chant to make it show the visions.
Right.
And he's no, I'm not going to do it. I made a promise, and then they're going to decapitate the pig, even though would he have actually done that? I don't know. And then Taryn's like, "Fine, I'll tell you." And so he does the thing. The pig shows them the cauldron. And then he's able to...
Well, the king gets overly excited about show me where it is. And he doesn't actually find out. And everybody, Creeper and the king and the boy, all kind of get too close. They kind of trip over the bowl. And we have, like, the most ludicrous escape scene.
There's no way he would have escaped.
Where the kid basically picks the pig up like a football.
Yeah.
And runs out with all kinds of shenanigans going on behind him.
And I just want to say, he's able to pick this pig up and run no problem. And then when they're out and they have to jump into the moat, he couldn't throw the pig over the thing. He couldn't lift the pig up. And I'm like, you just carried it and ran past all these burly dudes, like Viking dudes. Like, what? And so the pig gets away and goes down the moat, but he gets captured. And the king is like, just throw him in the dungeon. And I'm like, okay.
And we cut to Taryn basically being a showboat and a failure in the dungeon. So this is almost where the first movie could have ended.
And I'm sure there's more stuff they cut out. That's why I need to read these books. I need to know what they cut out.
I'm just saying, timing-wise and kind of story-wise, it makes sense to me that the first book could have ended in this failure.
Probably did.
Or just a few minutes after this.
It probably did.
Yeah, probably did. So, and then immediately, this hot chick just pops out of the floor and's like, "Hey, I thought I heard somebody in here."
And she just sounds like she sounds like the freaking chick from $1 Million Oddball. What is it called? Unidentified Flying Oddball.
Yeah, she does.
Just so daffy and just...
And so this lady was really old. She was almost 40.
I do hope there aren't any rats in here. Oh, not that I really mind them, you know. But they do jump out at one, so... I'm Princess Alonwi. Are you a lord or a warrior?
No. I'm an assistant pig keeper.
Immediately I hated this character, by the way.
I didn't think she was that bad.
No, I hated her. She brought nothing.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think she was that bad, but I think that whatever happened with shortening this thing, they screwed her up. Because she was really good for the first 5 minutes, and then after that, they made her kind of into nada.
She's just worthless. She didn't do anything.
And I don't think that's true with the books.
Probably. I hope not.
Yeah.
Then they go down the little thing, and...
Yeah, there's like a dungeon tour, and basically they stumble upon this tomb. A boy pulls out a sword from the tomb, and they escape extraordinarily easily.
Well, they don't escape yet. First, they find the minstrel, what is his name?
No, they escape first, and then they find Flem from the delivery.
Oh, you say escape like they escaped out of the castle.
They could have left the castle at that point undetected.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Right, they went back for Flem.
But
they heard him calling for help.
Right, and they can see him being tied up, and he's supposed to be kind of a comedic old silly man.
He's a bard, yeah.
So they untie only one of his hands, and I'm like, what the f***?
Because people are coming.
Yeah, and so they leave, and he's like, ugh! And so then he gets away, and then all of a sudden we realize this is a magic sword, apparently.
Well, because he swings it at the dude's axe who's trying to kill him, and it blows up the axe, and the guy runs away.
Yeah. So they're escaping, and she's like, Taryn, over here. And when did he tell you his name? But whatever, okay.
Right. Once again, millions of things cut out of this movie.
And so it's a wacky escape scene, but they do escape.
Yeah, they escape easily because he has the sword.
Yeah.
And then we meet Vladimir Flan for real. There's this scene, which is one of the better scenes, with Iolani and Taryn arguing about how the sword really saved them.
Oh, well, before that, though, really quick, there's a little scene where Creeper has to go tell the Horned King that he let them go. And this is what, it was confusing because the Horned King's like, good, he'll lead us right to the pig.
Oh, I have that after this.
Oh, I have it before. Cause it's like,
no, it's not. It's not.
It is. Cause
it's not. I'm telling you.
Well, because I literally had to turn the page to write about.
Oh no, sorry. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
No. I'm just, my notes are a little confusing at this point because there was a lot happening that I didn't really need to talk about.
I only know that it's true because I had to turn the page to go to the next one. But it's important because I just don't understand when he says, "Oh, he'll lead us to the pig." Then why didn't you just let him go in the first place?
Because he's not smart.
He's pretty dumb.
Like
Skeletor.
Yeah, very much like Skeletor.
But then we get to the little scuffle between the two, right?
Yeah, they have a dust up, and of course, Iolani goes and cries.
What do girls know about swords anyway?
And Taryn has to go and apologize, and Iolani also apologizes, and it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden we have Gurgi raping Clem. Right off the bat. Like, Gurgi's crawling in his clothes, jiggling his thing, playing his little harp.
Well, he always wants munchins.
And munchies and crunchies.
Munchies and crunchies, yeah, which...
Can you imagine this character nowadays if they re-put it out? This thing would be the most popular character of all time.
I don't want to think about that ever.
Yeah, but you know it's true with those blue eyes and little weird thing. This Disney... If you're listening, once again, if you redo this, Gurgi will be the most popular character of all time.
Or he'll be the most hated.
No, I'm sorry. People are too dumb now.
Yeah.
Gurgi will be the most popular character if they make 3 movies.
Yeah, probably. Which apparently they're doing, but whatever. And, so yeah.
Oh, and the princess thinks Gurgi is just... adorable, which once again, Disney, if you're listening.
And so they're going because Gurgi is taking them somewhere, and
they're following the piggy tracks,
right? But so there's a scene here, and once we watch Snow White, we'll have to kind of remember this because when they're walking across that log, do you remember they're walking somewhere, but they walk across this log, and that looks like a reused cut from Snow White, where the dwarves are walking across this log.
Do you think they really could have done that from 1930 to 1985?
Yes, I'm telling you, it looked.
They might have done it to like an homage.
It looked like the same freaking thing, and people who have seen Snow White and seen this, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Entirely possible. But then they encounter this pond. Gurgi does a little dance across the rocks, and he activates this magic whirlpool. And everybody falls into the whirlpool, and they go into this fairyland that is completely cool, but 100% unexplained as to what the they're doing there and what it is.
Okay, so this is the point in the movie where I was thinking, oh, there's just way too much going on in this world for them to put into one movie.
Because all of a sudden you're meeting new characters with no explanation.
And they're like, do you know where the cauldron is? And then the king is like, oh, I think it's here, but I wouldn't tell you, but you just did. Oh, but I'll get my little handyman to tell you.
Dolly will tell you. Dolly, where is the cauldron? Where did we last see the cauldron? Oh, it's in Morva.
And Dolly is like a crotchety old fix-it fairy person.
Well, not even fix-it, but he's just like a know-it-all. He just knows what's going on.
So Taryn we could get the cauldron and destroy it. And I thought they were going to use the sword to destroy it. I thought that was going to be how that was...
Okay, so this is one of the weaker points of the movie.
What?
That he never ends up with the sword.
And it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
It's just because that would have made sense to me is, oh, you use the sword to destroy the cauldron,
right.
But whatever. And because then you would have been a hero, but I don't know. So they go to the marshes of Morva, and they meet these 3 hags, which are very Mad Madam Mim-esque.
Yeah, they run up onto their house, they find all these frogs.
And
it's like, I always feel like Somebody watching me. When they're in the house with all the frog eyes.
Well, it kind of reminded me actually too, and this is another thing. So in Totoro, and in Spirited Away, so this is maybe Miyazaki stealing this because it was also made popular in Japan. The soot sprites, which you don't remember what that is, but they are these little black things that with little eyes that watch people in the dark.
Nah, I feel like those are a little different than the stupid frogs. So then we get to the phlegm rape scene where the fat witch just wants to.
Well, she's got these giant breasts.
She has big titties, yeah.
And you don't mind if I pluck your harp. And I'm like, wow.
And the other witch keeps turning him into a toad. She turns him back to a man, and then as a toad, he gets stuck in her tits.
Well, and it's like a prolonged, 45-second scene.
Yeah, prolonged, close up on the animated witch's tits.
Whoa.
And it's, wow, Disney, you went there. Okay.
So this is literally the darkest Disney movie, because they have tit humor.
Oh my god.
Suddenly, they're throwing out the cauldrons, because the kids go, oh, we want the Black Cauldron. And the magic sword starts killing all the magic flying pottery.
Yeah, and the ladies, the three witches, the one that's, oh, I need that sword, blah, blah, blah. And so they offer to trade the Black Cauldron for the sword because they know they're not going to be able to do anything with it.
We come into the kid getting a terrible deal of trading the sword, the magic sword, where Ailoni is do not do it. They should have traded phlegm to the fat lady for the cauldron because she would have done it.
Probably.
And really, he's already old. Who cares?
Yeah, he would have been down with it. That lady wasn't that ugly. I'm just saying.
She was missing a lot of teeth,
but I mean, so he trades it, and then the witches are ha ha ha. The only way to just destroy the cauldron is you have to, which also doesn't really make sense for what happens later, but whatever. Is you have to, a living soul has to climb into the cauldron willingly.
So the only thing that makes sense about this to me is that if at the end the witches have the cauldron and the sword, there's no way to ever reactivate the cauldron again. Because the only way to activate the cauldron is to get it from the witches, and if you don't have the sword, you don't have anything they want.
Well, maybe.
So, which is a weird tie-off to say that this story is totally tied off.
Yeah, and
that's my theory.
Yeah, and yeah. It just doesn't make sense. And so they're just sitting there with this cauldron they can't do anything with because obviously none of them want to climb in it. And then they get captured again.
Well, before this, Dolly is pissed. He throws a fit and he's like, I'm out of here. Pow, I'm out. And he disappears himself and then they get captured.
Yeah.
He's screaming at them why would you trade the sword?
Because he probably knew the sword could have destroyed the cauldron, but whatever.
Right. So they're caught and recaptured, back into the dungeon. The Horned King activates the cauldron's power by throwing a skeleton in it. And then there's all this green smoke going everywhere. It kills every single one of the king's men and turns them into undead soldiers.
Mm-hmm. And, well, it doesn't... Yeah, I guess it does.
No, it does. It kills all of those dumb dudes.
Yeah. And, which I'm like, if that's the case, then why would you need an army? But whatever.
Well, no, because now he has a zombie army.
Yeah. And then Gurgi comes and he unties them, and you think that Terran's gonna jump into the cauldron, but then Gurgi's like, oh, Gurgi doesn't have any friends, and so he does the right thing, and it's very Gollum-esque at the end, but whatever.
He jumps into the cauldron.
And so
it just kills everything. All of the undead people die. All of the green stuff starts sucking back into the cauldron. And
it's holding windstorm.
Yeah.
And so Terran is holding on, but
Terran tells Flem and Eilonwy to get out of there first.
Yeah, because
Terran is having to hold himself from getting sucked in.
Because first he's going to go see if Gurgi is still there or whatever, which I'm like, why do you even care about Gurgi?
Right, you hated Gurgi until he jumped into the stupid vault and freed you. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's just some dumb sloth thing.
Like
is that what it is? Is he a sloth?
I don't know. They needed 4 more scenes to make you care about Gurgi. And so but that's the thing is, though, I bet that in the books, Gurgi is more like a Dobby character, where when Dobby dies in the books, it's
heart-wrenching.
It's the most traumatic moment of the whole book, the whole series. And so this is probably, in the books, this is probably super traumatic.
It probably is. You're probably right.
And so then the Horned King comes, and he starts to get pulled in, but then he grabs Terran.
And he's trying to throw him in.
And I thought Terran was going to push him into the cauldron.
No, but Terran just gets low to the ground, and the Horned King is standing up tall, and he gets ate up by the cauldron.
And it's very anticlimactic. Oh, that's it. There was no Terran being a hero. And so that's what's so frustrating is they set this movie up like a typical fantasy story of like, oh, here's a farm boy, and then he's going to become a hero, but he doesn't do anything heroic.
That's what I'm saying. Him not having the sword at this point is stupid. It makes the whole movie worthless.
I hate it.
And then we get the scene of Creeper being super happy that he's free. And they run down to this deer boat in the dungeon. Terran has to open the gates.
It's very dramatic. It's more dramatic than the Horned King getting pulled into the cauldron.
Right, and there's like this whole big thing. The whole castle's collapsing all around them. And basically the castle gets nuked, and they ride the wave out into the lake around the castle.
And the witches come back, and they want the cauldron for some reason, but I'm like, if it's been deactivated, why do you want it?
The funny thing is that this scene of them getting nuked out in the boat is almost every single 80s action movie.
Yeah.
So they did borrow a little of that. I think the witches want it because now I bet you that the Black Cauldron is back to being the Black Cauldron, where if somebody retrieves it, they can activate the same powers again.
Maybe. I don't
almost
know.
guarantee you, and that's because the witches are the witches are the keepers of the Black Cauldron.
But okay, so... But then when the Horned King went in there, because he's already basically a skeleton, wouldn't that have activated it again?
No, I think that adds to the dark powers of the Black Cauldron.
Like,
I would bet you.
Like he's in there with the king and they're just chilling?
They're just
playing chess.
Added powers.
I get it.
I don't feel like the Horned King was all that powerful. He was just kind of a douche.
I mean, like, was he a skeleton? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. And so then the witches come and they first offer the sword and he's oh no, I'll trade it for Gurgi. And I'm like, really?
Which pisses me off.
Really?
Like, that's the worst ending to a movie of all time.
And so he gets Gurgi, and so the witches have the sword and the cauldron, and I'm like, ugh.
And that's what I'm saying. So if the witches have the sword and the cauldron, there's no further story. They hold everything, and the Black Cauldron can never be used again if they have both.
Well, and so this is supposed to be emotional because you think it's just dead Gurgi, but then he comes back and he's munchies and crunchies.
You feeling better, Ocho?
And that's the thing is, I think in the books this is probably actually emotional, whereas in the movies it just fell flat. Because
maybe you care about Gurgi, I don't know, but I didn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, imagine if Dobby. That's what I'm saying. When Dobby died, that was freaking terrible and awful.
The best thing that happens at the end of this is where Gurgi forces Terran and Elanwy to kiss.
Ugh, yeah. So then they just all hold hands and go off, and we see that, what's his name? The old dude, the wizard dude, the Wormland dude, what's his name?
Dabney?
Dillhole Dabney. He's there with the pig watching them all go. He's like, oh, you did good, didn't you? And like the pig had no relevance after the midpoint. I don't know, just this movie was so...
That was annoying, that there was no... One of the best characters they had, as soon as we got a third into the movie, was completely gone. There was no more headwind.
I don't know, I
was annoyed by this
movie. I was annoyed because it could have been so much better. I just know that there was 10 million things they cut out of the books that would make it make sense, and that's frustrating.
Right. Absolutely.
So what was your favorite part, David?
I'm gonna have to go with him being the sword hero when he has the sword in the castle and he's kicking ass. That part is fun. And
yeah.
An escape. That's actually a good action or good fantasy.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So originally I put the when they first meet the three witches and there's the cleavage humor, that was funny.
That is very good. That's a good runner-up.
But actually, I'm going to go with when the little scene where Henchman is running from the dragons and the dragons capture Henchman. That's
pretty good scene.
I did like that part.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
So there's no music.
Nope.
Notably, this is the first animated movie with zero music.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe the only one? Because the next movie is full of music. Wait, did Great Mouse Detective have any music? I feel like it didn't.
Let me be good to you.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
And the Ratigan.
Oh, yeah.
Ratigan.
Ratigan, yeah. That's a great song.
And it had a rockin' theme music. Bum, 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 dum, dum,
Good point. Good
yeah.
point. Good
No,
point.
no. So Taryn is the main character, I guess. Which I just... Okay, so it's so... When this movie...
Taryn and Aloni are the main characters.
But, like...
Oh.
Okay, I don't understand. If she's a princess of what?
Well, see, this is where I have a feeling if you were to read the books, that this character would be awesome. And they drop her magical powers. They basically drop her princesshood. They drop everything as soon as they escape. And she just becomes some girl. And that's lame.
Well, it just doesn't make sense because you have the Horned King, but yet she's a princess of somewhere else. And I'm like, but where?
Well,
and
that's the whole thing.
And what exactly does the Horned King rule over? How,
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is she's powerful for a few minutes, and then they just let it all go.
Well, and who is the king in the cauldron? That's what I don't understand.
The former king, and that was explained at the beginning. A former evil king.
I don't get it.
Okay.
It just doesn't make sense to me. So they were both just kind of bleh, lame.
Yeah.
And when the movie starts and you meet Terrence, this is the most stereotypical fantasy, there's a farm boy and he wants to go on adventures.
Man, it sounds a lot like The Sword in the Stone.
He gets thrown into an adventure. Oh my god. An
adventure he didn't expect. Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
So
villains, we have the Horned King, and he just...
and Creeper. I would consider Creeper the other main villain.
He's a side villain. And he's
the main part of the movie.
He's better than the Horned King.
And he's kooky and funny.
Gotcha, pig boy! I caught him, Your Majesty! I caught the boy!
But you let the pig go, didn't you?
It wasn't my fault.
Throw the boy into the dungeon.
The Horned King.
The Horned King is really boring.
Well, yeah, he's just bad to be bad, and he's just not
and
that
looks
cool.
Like Skeletor, and then his red eyes get redder as the movie goes along.
He doesn't have any powers. I don't.
Except for turning himself into smoke and entering a room. That was really stupid.
But I just don't know why is he supposed to be so scary? What is his power? What is his deal? I don't know. I don't like. It
was boring.
Weak.
And then for side characters, we had Phlegm, who was basically a piece of phlegm. He was terrible with his magic harp.
Oh, yeah. And so...
See, he was so boring you can't even remember him when I say his name.
I thought his name was Fluter.
Fluter Phlegm.
Oh, Fluter Phlegm. So was his harp, every time he was telling a lie, the string would break? Is that
would pop off and which is a funny bit. I will give them that. That's kind of funny. And then we have Gurgi, who is...
the worst.
Terrible. And we have Henwin, who is great. But we don't have enough Henwin.
And we have the fairy people that are there for about 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah, which are really good, and that's a really interesting scene, but it doesn't breathe enough for you to know what is going on.
And you have the witches, which I actually liked them.
Yeah, very good too. And once again, no time to breathe, just a lot of titties.
Yeah, this is okay.
It was very frustrating.
The animation was so bad.
It was piss poor.
One of the worst I think probably the worst.
So remember when they were first going up the castle and they had the fire coming out of the...
So this movie is actually the first where they tried to use CG, computer stuff.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, and so I think that's why it was so bad, because they put it in and there were certain things where you're like, oh, that's not animated, but then they had the classic animation and it just was bad. The animation was so bad and it was really bad. It was a bunch of Disney interns made this movie, and they were like, sure, put that out.
But I feel like if interns would have done this, it would have been better.
I don't know. The animation was really bad.
So what was your biggest surprise or disappointment?
I am surprised that I have seen this movie before.
Really?
As an adult, 8 years ago, when I was going through this phase of renting Disney movies from the library.
Well, there you go.
But I remembered there was a pig, and I remembered the princess, but I didn't remember anything else. I remembered nothing else about this, like anything that happened or anything. So, and I am surprised that there were elements that I'm surprised that I really didn't like the movie, but there were so many things about pieces of the movie that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very, like you said, frustrating movie watching experience. You could be so much better. What the...
Right. So for me, my biggest disappointment, it'll obviously be, is that it's frustratingly fast. It could have been a great movie, but it just moves super fast. There's no time to let anything marinate or build. It's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and this is one that actually they need to remake this.
Yeah, so the thing I put is if I remade this movie, it would be 2 movies.
Or 3.
Well, right, but I only put 2.
And whatever else in the books they left out to put in to make it make sense. Because I'm sure there's a ton of other cool stuff they left out of the books, or left out of the movies, that was actually would have made this better.
And now I'm pretty sure that the first movie would end when they escape the first time, and then the second movie would be the rest of the book, or however you want to do it. But that would be the minimum, is having those 2 movies.
Yeah, so an expanded story. I mean, we're pretty much in agreement on this, I think.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts?
I would recommend not watching this movie. I don't really see why.
Just so you can understand what is... I guess it's just one of those things that's what's the expression I'm looking for where it's in the... it's like in the zeitgeist of Disney that you like...
So if you're really into that, go ahead.
You need to watch it because everyone says this is the worst animated movie, and so I feel like to understand why people say that, you need to watch this movie.
No, see, I still don't think you need to.
I disagree. I think that if you're a Disney fan, to have a full understanding of Disney's journey of animation, you need to watch this movie. Because this is... To think about this movie, and then 3 movies later they made Little Mermaid,
or 4 movies later they made Booty and the Beast.
Just think about that for animated movies later.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
And 5 movies it was Aladdin, and 6 it was Lion King.
I don't... Stop it. So this movie had a budget of $44 million, which is
insane. Especially for 1985. Like, how much of that went up their nose?
And, oh my god. Well, this is not Alice in Wonderland, but
who cares?
It has cumulatively only made $21 million.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal failure.
It's bad.
It's as bad as you can do.
So, I mean, I get it. Why people say this is the worst animated movie. I get it. But also, it could have been better. So I have mixed feelings, but...
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
So what's your rating, Ellie?
I did have a hard time rating this.
So did I. Cool.
But I went with 47%. Because it's not a good movie. It's bad. It's really... The animation is... I think if the animation would have been better, I could have possibly bumped it up because there are good things about this movie, but the animation was so bad. The story was poorly paced. The characters... could have been good, but they weren't developed. It's a bad movie. It's not a good movie.
What a rating.
But no, so if I didn't think that this movie could have been better, I would have given it a 20%, but I think it could have been better, so I gave it a 47%. Why, what did you give it?
45%.
Oh, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, all the same reasons. It was lame. It just could have been so much better.
You're a jerk. You're like, oh, why would you give it that rating?
I was just messing with you.
I know.
Yeah, it was rugged, really rugged. Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, did we not do the Rotten Tomatoes score last time?
No, we did. Of course we did.
Oh, I don't. Okay. So I feel like the Rotten Tomatoes score, because everyone says this is so bad, it's going to be 20%.
So no, it's in line-ish with us. It's 53%. Which I think is totally fair.
That's the critic score, right?
Yeah. I didn't get a people score because a little peek back behind the curtain. While we're recording this, the Rotten Tomatoes site does not work and will not let me pull up the Black Cauldron. I got the Rotten Tomatoes score from Wikipedia. So it may or may not be right.
Yikes. I can't, okay, so,
Kelly's stressing about her favorite part of the show.
So you know what this is like? It's like playing the lottery.
Oh, it's totally the lottery because we're randomly drawing a number.
Because I'm like, this could be so good, but it could also be... Oh, no.
Okay, so it's number 210.
David just put his hand over his face, so that makes me a little nervous.
It should make you very nervous.
God.
Because David is very nervous to watch this.
What is it?
In just a second. It is number 210 from 1997. That Darn Cat. The remake.
That's actually really close.
Are you sure that this came out in movie theaters?
I'm pretty sure, David. Let me just double check, but I'm fairly certain.
Because I feel like I would have known about a movie called That Darn Cat when I was 17, but maybe not.
I'm pretty sure
if that's the case, that's another first for At the Disney Movies with the Hearts, is that we get to watch a remake of a perfect movie.
Yes, it
wasn't in Latvia.
Oh wait, hold on, that's the old one.
That's straight to DVD.
No, that says no, hold on. Hold on.
In Latvia?
So, international release. It was released in Australia and New Zealand, August 28th, 1997. But then it says, box office, the film earned blank amount opening weekend and it grossed this amount domestically. I feel like it did. And I definitely didn't see this in theaters. I watched it on Disney Channel.
Oh, no, it did.
It did. It did.
Yep.
So where did you find that?
I just, because Siskel and Ebert reviewed it.
Okay. So, That Darn Cat, 1997.
It has to be an abortion compared to the first movie.
I'm sure it is. It has Christina Ricci in it, so.
Yeah. The first movie was basically perfect. This movie, I'm going to guess, is basically a disaster.
I guess we will find out. So, what's it about?
It's about That Darn Cat, DC. But are we gonna get a Roddy McDowell?
No.
Are we gonna get two sisters? Are we gonna get anything close to the first one?
I mean, are we
gonna get the dude calling the lady mom?
Are we even gonna get a Siamese cat? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, probably a tabby. Who knows?
You already looked.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, join us next week for me trashing the remake of That Darn Cat.
You might love it. It might be the greatest thing since the last Darn Cat. There's don't know.
There's a possibility with a 1997 Christina Ricci, but I doubt it.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. So, if you're interested, follow us on Facebook or Instagram at the Disney Movies. If you want to send us an email and chitty chat with us about anything and everything, at thedisneymovies@gmail.com.
Like, subscribe, share, leave us a review, please.
Or mostly just subscribe, listen, and chat us up.
Yeah, no, I like the reviews though.
Yeah, okay.
Because people that have left reviews have left us really nice ones.
Yeah.
So please
Thanks,
do that. Don't be a dick.
But in the meantime, this has been At the Disney Movies with the Hearts.
I'm Kelly.
I'm David.
Bye!
Pause, Kelly. When you're editing, pause.
Thanks. Black Cauldron.
Which Rotten Tomatoes never came up. Luckily, Wikipedia had it.
Chronicles of What's the name of this place? Predian?
Okay, so.
Okay. But no, he's. Do you want me to look it up?
No, I got it.
But do you know what I'm talking about in the labyrinth? The little thing that's.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, it's going to drive me insane if I don't know the name of that thing.
Mommy is a babe. Babe with the power. Power of voodoo. You do. Mommy is the babe.
Gertie. Oh, there, son. Oh, Gertie. Oh. I wish I could do the voice. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe you have to have a low IQ.
Yeah, maybe.
Suck it, Trebek.